Hi guys, Tablet-News.com and I'm here with the LG G-Pad 8.3. It's a tablet with an unusual format that debuted this fall. The original format involves a screen with a diagonal of 8.3 inches, and as you know, LG has been on a break from tablets for about 2 years, and now they're back in full force with this pretty appealing model. The price tag of the LG G-Pad 8.3 is $350 in USA, and it's available in black or white. Now, as far as the design is concerned, I like this format. It's an interesting and nice format. It's like a bigger phone. It's like a bigger LG G2 if you want a comparison. We got a metal back plate right here and plastic in these areas here. The device is very elongated, as you can see, much longer than other slates it competes with. And this is the front side. The thickness is 8.3 millimeters for this device, and it weighs 338 grams. So not the lightest and also not the heaviest tablet in the below 10-inch segment. We also got pretty big top and bottom bezels, so you can actually hold it pretty good when you're watching a video or playing a game, and that's very nice. The device is easy to hold during the movies and also during games, so it's a pretty nice gadget. The buttons you can see here, the volume button, on-off button, offer good feedback to the user. And we have slim side bezels, well, slim compared to the likes of the Galaxy Note 8.0 for example. Now at the top, what we got here is infrared emitter, audio jack, and the micro USB slot covered with a lid. Now at the top we got, at the top front, we got a proximity sensor and front 1.2 megapixel camera, the LG logo right here in the center. At the bottom we find the micro USB port and microphone, while at the back these two stereo speakers right here, plus the 5 megapixel camera and the LG logo yet again. The build is very solid here. I like the slate design, once again much like a bigger phone and a very elongated format, one that sits well in the hand, offers good grip and a solid build. In the hardware area, well, we get the display. It's an IPS LCD, 8.3 inches in diagonal, resolution of 1920 over 1200 pixels. Also, you should know that this screen works with gloves. Other specs here include a quad-core Snapdragon 600 processor with a frequency of 1.7 GHz. We also have the Adreno 320 GPU, a 5 megapixel back camera and a 1.3 megapixel front camera. The memory here is 2 gigs of RAM, and we also get 16 gigabytes of storage on this device. We also have a micro SD card slot for extra storage, and at the bottom we got a micro USB 2.0 port with slim port technology. There is Miracast, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi Direct, GPS, and also GLONASS here, accelerometer, proximity sensor, gyroscope, infrared sensor, stereo speakers at the back, and the battery is a lithium polymer unit with a capacity of 4600 mAh. It takes 3 hours to charge, which is pretty much if you ask me. And now let's see how we handled the battery testing here. So we started off with 100%, 50% battery, and the device was at 100%, as you can see here. We took it from 100% to 50% in about 4 hours of video playback, and then the rest of the 50% was out in 3 hours and 40 minutes. So overall we achieved 7 hours and 40 minutes. You can even reach about 8 hours of continuous HD video playback with Wi-Fi on and the brightness at 50%. Meanwhile, you should know that the Nexus 7 2013 only achieved 7 hours, so we beat it by about 1 hour. Meanwhile, the iPad mini scores 12 hours, so we're not superior to that model, but at least we beat the Nexus 7 from this year. So remember it, about 8 hours of continuous video playback for this model. Now it's time to test the audio speakers that we got here. As I said, we're dealing with stereo speakers here. Let's increase the brightness a little bit. And now this is the audio player on the device. You can see here the songs divided by albums, artists, genre, playlists, folders, nearby devices. Go to songs. Let's listen to this tune and turn up the volume. the speakers. I must say that this is a pretty loud tablet, that's what I have to mention. And by the way, this is the equalizer with audio effects like pure surround, bass reducer, bass booster, treble booster, and also a bunch of your custom options, the same ones that we found on the LG G2. This model is quite a bit louder than the Nexus 7. It can cover up a conversation using these two stereo speakers. It's also louder than the iPad mini. However, as you probably heard earlier, the sound gets pretty distorted at maximum volume. Everything sounds like it's breaking down, especially the drums. So if you listen to a tune with drums, you feel like it's breaking down and getting distorted. The solution is listening to the tune at about 70% of the maximum volume available on this device. You'll get the proper experience out of it, you won't miss anything. And that's pretty much everything I had to say on the audio side. Very loud volume, the bass could be just a bit better, and the songs with voice are heard perfectly, so no objection here. Now, as far as the screen is concerned, this is an 8.3-inch IPS LCD screen, resolution 1920 over 1200 pixels. We got very good color balance here, very realistic colors, and the color temperature is 6500 Kelvin, which is the industry standard. The balance between red and blue and green is perfect on this device. And now let's check out some video samples. For that, I'm going to use the video app on this device, provided that I find it. Still looking for it. That's what happens when you don't rely on the gallery to play your videos. Here we go, videos, and we got this clip here. Let's turn down the volume and let's check out the video playback. Right now we're at about 70% brightness, and as you can see, the brightness is decent. The viewing angles are pretty good, so no objection here. And let's play the other video that, by the way, was captured using the LG G2. As you can see, the colors are beautifully balanced. And the brightness level here is 260 lux units on white and 1 lux unit on black. You should note that the Nexus 7 2013 offers 500 lux units, so this is about half of it, and it's less impressive in the brightness department. So overall, the screen could be just a little bit brighter. As I said, it's about half the brightness of the Nexus 7 2013, but the average user will not feel that lack of brightness. At least we got good viewing angles, and you should know that the outdoor visibility of this product is pretty poor. We got RGB striped pixels here, and let's see what else we got. We use the microscope on this device, and this is what the screen looks like on black under the microscope, the pixels of the device. And this is what it looks like on white if you really zoom in. As I said, about half the brightness of the previously mentioned Nexus 7 tablet. And the features of the video player here include, for example, pinching to zoom. That's been available now on a lot of devices. There's also a feature called Q-Slide here. You can use it like this. It's sort of like the pop-up play on Samsung. You keep doing your activities, like opening up a calendar, writing an email, checking out a website. And in the meantime, the video keeps playing. You can also increase its size, pause it, or restore it to its regular dimension. You notice that there's a bit of lag going on here if you apply the Q-Slide option. And let's go to the video player yet again. Let's check out some of these settings. For example, there is this mode of viewing the playlist of videos. There are subtitles, play speed, the option to delete, share, settings here, autoplay, next, audio effects, video auto off, brightness, smart video, and all that. Speaking of smart video, let's see some of these devices featured in the display department. I'm going to go to the settings area and display. You can see here that we got a feature called Knock On. Well, what Knock On does is basically you can double tap the center of the screen to turn the screen on or off. So right now it's off. I double tap the center. Let's try it again. And it turned on. That's a feature also available on the LG G2, and LG likes to brag about it a lot. Now, also in the display settings area, we got here the screen off effect settings, fade out black hole retro TV, font type, font size, and a feature called Smart Screen. So the screen is kept on when the tablet detects your face. The front camera will see your face and keep the screen on at all time. There is also Smart Video that pauses the video when the tablet cannot detect your face looking at the screen. So this is basically everything you need to know about the display here. We got a very good tablet screen, maybe aside from the brightness department where the Nexus 7 2013 shines a bit more. Now as far as the camera is concerned, this is where this model is inferior to the Nexus 7 just a little bit. So we're dealing with a 5 megapixel camera shooter here with a maximum photo resolution of 2592 over 1944. This is how the focusing is done, just taking a picture. Here it is. As you can see, everything starts to get blurry even before you start to zoom in too much. And now let's check out the options here. The user interface is very similar to the one you get on the LG G2 handset. This camera is able to do Full HD 30 frames per second video capture. And we got the following settings. We can switch to the front camera. You can go to the modes here. We got HDR, panorama, 360 degree panorama, continuous shot, which is bird shot, beauty shot, time catch shots that starts the capture before you press the shutter by a few seconds, sports shot, and night shot. The settings area is quite complex for a tablet. You got your brightness here, that's basically the exposure, focus modes that also include manual and face tracking, maximum resolution in 4:3 or 8:5, no 16:9 here, ISO levels going up to 800, white balance with a few options, some color effects to play with, timer, shutter sound, volume key, and that's basically every option you need on this device. Now in the video department, once again a bunch of modes, live effect and normal, and a bunch of settings. You can do Full HD capture 30 frames per second or limit yourself to HD, exposure, anti-shaking option, pretty welcome here, white balance with a few options, and color effects. This camera doesn't offer a flash, in case you're wondering, and I have to say that the quality of the camera is below the iPad mini and the Nexus 7 2013. I've taken just a few shots indoors. I'm not a fan of using tablets as cameras. Those are some of the shots I took. Even if you don't zoom in, you'll notice that there's a lot of noise going on. And it takes a long while to focus this camera, so not exactly the best camera in the world. The noise is very clear, both indoors and outdoors. We're lacking a flash, but even in lack of a flash, the Nexus 7 2013 did a fine job with its 5 megapixel camera, so not exactly the best camera I've seen on this device. Well, at least it has HDR and 360 degree panorama, and the videos are captured at 17 megabytes per second bitrate, MP4, so not impressive in the camera area. Moving on to the software, we got here Android 4.2.2 Jelly Bean with the Optimus UI on top, and as usual I'm going to show you a few benchmarks that demonstrate the power of this device. I have decided to compare it to the Nexus 7 2013 and the Samsung Galaxy Note 8.0. In quadrant we score 12,000 points, we beat the Nexus 7 2013 and it's 4,700 points. We also beat the Galaxy Note 8.0 and it's 6,900 points. Antutu, we scored 21k points, Nexus 7 2013 20,000 points, and Galaxy Note 8.0 17,000 points. We beat it again. Nanomark 59.2 frames per second. We beat the Nexus 7 by 1 frame and Galaxy Note beat us by 1 frame, but that one has an inferior resolution. In Velamo, 2,505 points. This is where we beat the Nexus 7 2013 by 1,000 points, and we beat the Galaxy Note 8.0 by 400 points. In Ice Storm we scored 9,456, once again beating the rivals by triple the score for the Galaxy Note and by 2,000 points for the Nexus 7 2013. Finally, the browser test, here we go, 2,679 points. We scored 600 points more than the Nexus 7 from this year. You should probably know before you decide to compare this against the Nexus 7 that at the time of the benchmarks, those were not optimized exactly for the OS that the Nexus 7 was running, so that's why the results may have been just a bit lower. Now, as far as performance is concerned, you must also take into account the temperature. That's why we use a thermometer on this device. So after playing 15 minutes of a game, Riptide GP2 on it, we reach a temperature of 38.6 degrees Celsius, and although this may sound a bit much over the level you're supposed to take, the tablet does not get overheated, so no problem with heating or overheating on this device. Now as far as the browser is concerned, we got Chrome here available at your disposal, or you can opt for your regular browser. So first let's try something else, like an intensive site like CNN. As you can see, it loaded pretty fast, and then back to our website. Tablet-News.com. Here we go. It's a reasonably fast browser, and I like the fact that we also get a comfy keyboard with a numeric row right here at the top. Let's also check out the website in landscape, and let's ditch the keyboard. The screen is crisp enough for you not to zoom in order to read the text, which is pretty nice. So the browsing experience is perfect on this device, no objection in this department. Now as far as the notification area is concerned, you can see here the option that we got available right here at the top. There's a lot of them, a lot of shortcuts to access here, and of course they're all editable. And let's take them one by one and see what we got here. So first of all, we got Quick Memo. This is an application that allows us to draw on the screen, write, take notes, change the background to something like this. As you can see, we got a sample here. So for example, you can open up a map and draw on it the location for your friends. This is another way to doodle up with this pattern here. Or you can opt for this pattern, classic one for a memo, with several pen options, colors, an eraser. So basically you can write buy milk if you want to take a note, or indicate to a friend a certain area on the map simply by drawing an arrow and saying go here while you're in a map screen. You can also trigger Quick Memo not only from the notification area but also by this area, like this. Okay, now we proceed to the notification area yet again. We find the Q-Slide option activated, and you see here a row of Q-Slide apps. Well, this is basically a multitasking method. It allows you to have floating windows on the screen. As you can see, I can play with the file manager and calculator at the same time, floating on the screen. But if I want a third app, well, we got a maximum number of 2 windows available here. This is basically the multitasking system available here. There's Quick Remote, allows you to quickly control your TV set from the tablet's notification area. Then the usual connectivity options and an option called Q-Pair. Well, Q-Pair basically allows me to connect to the LG G2 handset, and when I get a call on the LG G2, it will show up on the tablet. When I get a message, the same, and I can transfer quick memos between the tablet and the phone easily without a problem. Okay, let's see the other options: GPS, rotation, sync, mirrorcast, battery saver, wireless storage, and all that. We move further into the settings area. Let me just turn off the Bluetooth. This is the tiny settings button that we got right here. And first of all, you'll find the battery saving option with some tweaks that you can perform here. And then we move further to the slide aside option, a very nice way to do multitasking. So as you can see, I have activated it. What slide aside does is the following. So let's say I'm going to enter the Play Store, and I'm going to slide it aside with 3 fingers like this. And then let's say I enter the videos application and I'm sliding it aside like this. I have 2 apps that were slid to the side, and now you can see them running at the same time in multitasking, which is a very nice feature. So that's the famous slide aside thing we got here. Once again, in the settings area, we got your security right here, encrypt tablet, encrypt SD card, verify apps, and all the other things you need to know for this device. Then there's backup and reset, and an accessory section. This accessory section has special options for quick cover, USB storage, earphones, dock. So for example, if you connect a USB cable or accessory via USB, you'll see a special panel with dedicated apps opening up. Also applies for the audio jack. So this is Android 4.2.2, as I said earlier, but we have the Optimus UI applied on top, which means we get a bunch of unique widgets like those you can see right here. Bunch of unique wallpapers, also a unique theme, and also you can even change the looks of the icons you have here. So if you want to replace the icon of the maps, you can even do that. So this is basically the customization that LG brings to the table: wallpapers, icons, widgets, and themes. Let's see what else. We got a pretty nice lock screen effect here. If you play with the LG G2, you know what to expect. You can take a quick glance of what's happening behind the lock screen. And I have to say that sometimes the lock screen tends to feel just a little bit laggy. You'll notice that especially when you're turning from portrait to landscape. And when you're trying to do that, you just saw that bit of lag. Shouldn't happen on a device with such a powerful CPU inside. Anyway, we also got another interesting feature here. And let's say I enter a picture from the gallery. I can copy it to the clip tray, and then I can go to the web browser, and I can also keep the link pressed, and I can copy it to the clip tray as well. And once I've copied these items in the clip tray, I can use them inside an email. For example, I can mail that link to a person, and I can mail that picture to a person. So basically it's a big clipboard hanging on in the background of this tablet. Now we've come to that part of the review where we check out all the pre-installed apps on the device. So we got a good old calculator here, nothing fancy. Then we've got a calendar, which is a bit changed from the stock calendar application. Chrome, contacts, downloads, email, gallery, Gmail, no, all of them, Google settings, Google Plus, Hangouts, LG backup, which does exactly what the name says, backs up your items, do a schedule backup, restore backup files, and you can check out your storage. LiveSquare is a bit of a stalker, if I can say that. It gathers up your tweets, your Facebook statuses, and also the pictures you've taken during a day, and collects sort of a diary of your life. Then we've got Maps. Guess I'm going to have to turn the GPS on. Waiting for the location. Doesn't seem to be the fastest in the world. After all, we are indoors, but still a bit more precision and speed will be recommended. That's the mapping experience. Sometimes the Maps application tends to feel a bit laggy. I can say that I was playing with it a while ago. Then we got Memo. That's basically your app for scribbling that you also saw earlier under another form. You can write stuff like buy milk, and then you can create a list with bullet points. Then you can add an image, take a photo, audio, record voice, location, and even start drawing around with the option you saw in that app called Quick Memo. So it's basically a note-taking application on steroids. We continue the list of pre-installed apps with Photos, an alternative to your gallery application. It comes from Google+, but it will soon replace the gallery, which is my opinion on this app. There is also a notebook. This feature, I like to think it's sort of a rival for the S Note on the Galaxy Note devices. What this allows you to do is write some text using the keyboard, write some text or draw stuff using the pen, with a lot of varied options here. Thickness, also opacity and color choice. Eraser available as well, and a ton of options that you can add, like sticker. We got your image, take photos, video, record audio, record video, location, then date and time, and schedule. A bunch of stickers to add. Takes a long while to load because there's a lot of them. So if you want, you can add this funky little Afro man, add it right here, and create a quirky little note and presentation. Also have some templates of the things you can do using this application. That's one example of the things you can do with the aid of the notebook application. A basic presentations for your office or a greeting card. Okay, and then let's see the usual setup: playbooks, play games, play newsstand, and play music. Play Store, Q-Pair, Quick Remote, which allows you to control the TV set with all the standard options we got here. Then there is also tasks that allows you to set a reminder. You can even sync it online. You can set up a subject, a due date, description, repeat, and finally set that proper reminder. We move further to the update center and a nifty video editor that takes a pretty long while to load. When you're loading it up for the first time, create a project like this, add the clips like this, add a bunch of images, audio, background music, text, even some transitions, and you should be done. We move further to VoiceMate, which is basically your virtual assistant on this device. Restaurants nearby. Restaurants, as you can see, it's kind of laggy. I couldn't exactly tell when it started. Restaurants nearby.
Showing maps for restaurants.
Okay, so that was handled pretty well. But I'm guessing it shows some generic restaurants, not the ones in my area, which kind of sucks. Okay, now let's go to it again. Who was Steve Jobs?
No contacts found for Steve Jobs.
As you can see, it's not very capable. This virtual assistant is both slow and it doesn't have a large base of knowledge. You can also trigger it like this, but I will stick to Google now if I were you. Then there are the other applications installed like Weather, YouTube, Box if you're into cloud storage via Box, Dictionary, File Manager, Polaris Office, Quick Translator, and LG Smart World if you want to install apps from someplace else than Google Play Store. Frankly speaking, I'm not a big fan of the Smart World. I've played with it on the LG G2. It doesn't have many interesting apps and it takes forever to download a snowboard game. That's what bothered me and I gave it up. Okay, then there's a task manager that actually does its job. Stopped all the apps, has a proper widget right here, cleaning up the RAM. And as you can see, we got one of the home screens as a tutorial for the features of the device. You can tap it and learn everything about the knock-on, cue slide, slide aside, quick memo, and stuff like that. Now for the verdict regarding this interesting tablet. This is a top 3 tablet. Some people may see it as the best tablet of the year because it actually is in some regards. Well, it has a solid design, that's in the pros section. The battery life is pretty good. It's good if you compare it to the Nexus 7 from this year. It's actually better than that model, about 8 hours, almost 8 hours. The screen is actually pretty good. It works with gloves, it has a decent brightness, not impressive, but decent, good view angles, and a very accurate color balance. We got good audio, and the audio volume here actually easily beats the iPad mini and the Nexus 7. The performance is also good thanks to the CPU here. The price is very appealing, and we have a microSD card slot, which the iPad mini and the Nexus do not. MicroSD card slot right here. And of course there's that bunch of features and pre-installed apps, all those cute things in the notification area that are also appealing. Now on the cons, as you can see, I'm turning the brightness to the maximum and it feels like the maximum brightness could have been just a little bit better, but only a bit. The camera is, I know it's a camera tablet, but it's still below its rivals. The iPad mini has a pretty good camera and the Nexus 7 2013 actually has a surprising camera. There is also a slight lag in the lock screen and some of the apps. The outdoor behavior of the screen may be considered a defect. Some people would have called for a phone calling application on this device, maybe, and in some aspects the Optimus UI feels a bit old, feels a bit dated and may need some modernization. Also the LG App Store is not impressive. So the final grades are pretty big, not many defects here. We give this device a 9.7 out of 10 for design and a 9.3 out of 10 for hardware. Loses points in the camera and screen area, and a 9.5 out of 10 for operating system and user interface. If it had a newer Android, maybe 4.3, maybe KitKat, the grade would have been higher. Final grade, it's 9.5 out of 10 for probably the best Android tablet under 10 inches that you can buy in 2013. So the best Android tablet of the year with a pretty good price tag. This is Tablet-News.com. Hope you like the review of the LG G Pad 8.3. Bye bye.